What? Oh, shit. Hi, I'm Cone, and I'm an idiot. I don't know how I didn't know this was a Raimi movie until the end. I mean, as if it wasn't obvious enough with this corny movie style, I somehow missed his name at the very beginning of this movie. So, aside from my smooth brain, I was pleasantly surprised to find out that this was a Raimi movie. We all know Sam the Man, and if you don't, yes you do.
I won't be spoken to in that manner.
Are you talking back to me?
Us horror fans know him for the Evil Dead movies, Army of Darkness, and Drag Me to Hell, but I'd say that he's most famously known for the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. But it's taken.
He even got the chance to make a Doctor Strange movie, which I think is criminally overhated. Sam is a director who has a lot of fun with his visuals, and it really shined in Multiverse of Madness. Sam has a very corny feel to every one of his movies. Most of that has to do with the crazy camera work he's always doing. I can tell he wants every shot to be as interesting as it can be. And let me just say that one of the best parts about this movie is the absolutely stacked cast. Here, I wrote a short list of people who show up in this movie. Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Jigsaw, Robert Blossom, Keith David, Lance Henriksen, Pat Hingle, Lerner de Capricorn, and more. But I swear, this has got to be the one and only Raimi movie that doesn't have Bruce Campbell in it. And I mean Bruce is in every one of Raimi's movies. He of course played Ash Williams, had multiple cameos throughout the Spider-Man movies, and he would have ended up being revealed to be Mysterio, but that never really happened, thanks Sony. And of course, Pizza Papa.
Pizza Papa always gets paid.
But his absence in this movie is a very big shame. Anyway, now I'm gonna start talking about this movie from beginning to end, but with that being said... Hey, is that our main character? Guess not. Sharon Stone plays our main protagonist in this. The movie starts with her putting Jigsaw into one of his own games, and then she rides into a small town. But the thing about this town is that it's hosting a quick draw tournament.
But the man who wins the contest gets this. $123,000.
And gunslingers from around the West show up, each one cockier than the last. For example, we've got Ace Hanlon, who puts an ace of spades into his deck for each kill that he earns. It's kinda his whole thing. There's also Spotted Horse, who cannot be killed by a bullet.
Spotted Horse cannot be killed by a bullet. See, I've taken 4 bullets in my arm, 3 in my left leg, 1 in my right, and 2 bullets in the back, and another bullet went into my head today, here, and it not even come out.
I mean, this guy thinks he's fucking Michael Myers or something. And then we also have Keith David.
Anybody else?
Sergeant Cantrell.
Spell that.
Correctly.
And the cockiest of them all, Lerner de Capricorn is Kid. Seriously though, this guy is way too full of himself. But the thing with him is, if he says he can do something, he'll deliver on that promise.
So damn fast I can wake up at the crack of dawn, rob 2 banks, a train, and a stagecoach, shoot the tail feathers off a duck's ass at 300 feet, and still be back in bed before you wake up next to me.
Hey, good morning. But just as everyone's having a grand old time, the tone shifts as Lex Luthor himself walks into the bar.
How many brave men do we have? Add my name to the list.
Now, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The villain is always the absolute most important part of a story. They're the entire reason there's a story to begin with. What would the Avengers do if Thanos just became a farmer for the sake of becoming a farmer? Nothing. They'd all just be standing around jerking each other off. Now, Herod is one of the best and underrated villains ever put to film. This guy is at the center of everyone's story, especially for this guy's story. This is an ex-gunslinger turned priest named Court, played by none other than Russell Crowe himself. But Herod doesn't like that Court has renounced violence, so he dragged him here to force him to compete in the contest. But Court's just like, nah, I'm good fam. So that makes Herod go, I guess I'll just hang you then. But he doesn't just do that. He stands him up on a chair and slowly shoots away at it, toying with him. But our mysterious hero steps in for him.
Sign me up.
No women in quick draws against the rules.
There's no rule against ladies. It's just the women can't shoot for shit.
Fuck yeah, isn't misogyny the best? But you know what's better than misogyny? Proving all of these knuckle fuckers wrong. And Herod immediately takes a liking to her. This is Ellen, but she signed up to the contest as just Lady. And with Lady joining the contest, Herod has Court put into the contest against his will. But Court still refuses to fight, so the day of the contest, Herod takes Court to the kid's gun store. And you see, Court's a drug addict, and the drug that he's addicted to is fentanyl. Oiled up femboy, gunslinging, because he used to be the best at it back in the day. And he gave it all up because Herod forced him to execute a priest, so he became a priest.
Reverend here needs a gun.
There's plenty of other places in town to buy a gun.
Nowhere is cheap.
As Herod insults Kid, he has him showcase his best arms. Court starts pacing back and forth. His knees weak, palms sweaty, mom spaghetti. Something tells us he's about to relapse. Those pistols call out to him like the Green Goblin mask.
Coward. You make me sick.
Leave me alone, please.
Hiding in the shadows. Hiding from who you truly are.
Oh.
You can't escape yourself.
$5.
Sold.
So the contest begins, and first up is Kid. And he proves to us that he's not just all bark and no bite.
Hey there, Mr. Swedish Champion. Are you done?
Everyone praises the young man. Well, except for Herod.
Swede had been any slower, he'd had birds nesting in his hat.
And this is what he thought about it. I wish you could.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking hear.
Next up is Court, who was given one single bullet.
Preacher here's got the Lord on his side. He only needs one bullet. Otherwise, he might be tempted to shoot his way out of town.
Now what will he do? Will he stand by and do nothing as the priest he promised he would be? Or will he succumb to his gunslinger instincts to survive and yeah, he wins almost instantly. Y'all remember Ace? The guy whose whole shtick is that he has a lot of playing cards? Yeah, he shows off by having a child hold up a card for him to use as target practice.
Heard you blew a little girl's thumb off.
But Herod doesn't like him. As a matter of fact, he doesn't like that he took credit for his handiwork. So he of course has to make an example out of him.
Ace Hanlon. Scored to the sagebrush. The Terror of Tucson. Bladder full of hot air.
And when he does, he has to make everyone applaud him as if he was Kim Jong-un at a sports event. Then, uh-oh, a wild Jigsaw has joined the battle, and he wants Ellen. And the rules say, if you're challenged by someone, you have to accept. So she plays Jigsaw's game and wins. Hell yeah, epic gamer moment. Herod is impressed even more, so much so that he asks her out to dinner. But this is the guy that said women can't shoot for shit. Do you really think she'd accept his invite? Yeah, she does. She must have such a crush on him to accept, right? Well, actually, she wants to kill him. So that's why she chose to enter the contest. Why? Well, we'll find out soon enough. So dinner goes well, and by well, I mean Herod fills us in on his childhood. This one particular part is so fucking good because this one small conversation fills us in on why this man is so evil.
My father was a judge. He used to make my mother and me watch people being hanged. One day he said there was too much bad in this world. He took a bullet, put it in his gun, spun the chamber, then took it in turns, clicking it at each of us until he finally blew the back of his head off. Understand this. There is nothing on this earth that frightens me now.
Ellen understandably shits herself, so she has to go get a change of clothes. There is just something so menacing about how Herod tells us his origin story. It's such a short and simple scene, but it perfectly demonstrates to us what led him to become the villain that he is today. The way that he just chuckles at the memory of his dad blowing his brains out in front of him just says everything without showing anything. And I praise Gene Hackman's delivery on this story. I praise how well written it is. Both of those elements created such a good villain.
He gets 50 cents of every dollar in this town.
What's the town get?
It gets to live.
Herod is so evil, the town is trying to get rid of him. They put every dollar that they could get into hiring a professional gunslinger, played by none other than the legend himself. But nothing goes on in this town without Herod knowing about it, so he goes up to have a little chat with the sergeant.
As soon as the rain stops, I'm gonna make an example of you.
And once the rain clears, Herod tells Kid to drop out. And he does so because he's changing up the rules a little bit.
The winner is the contestant left standing.
Left alive.
Left alive! From now on, we fight to the death.
Well, I was planning to kill you anyway.
Everybody's freedom hangs in the balance of this match. If the sergeant wins, then everyone will be free from tyranny. But if Herod wins, everything will only get worse. So as the two get ready for the clock to strike, Ellen notices people praying. But their prayers are of no use.
I'm confused. All I hear from you, you spineless cowards, is how poor you are. And yet somehow, you've all managed to find the money to hire a professional gunfighter to kill me. Where's all this money coming from? If you got so much to spare, I'm just gonna have to take some more off you. Because you clearly haven't got the message. If you live to see the dawn, it's because I allow it. Your gunfighter's dead. Old news.
So obviously Herod changed up the rules to make an example out of the sergeant. But with the new rule, this means that court will be forced to break his oath. A very clear manipulation by Herod. You guys remember Native Michael Myers? The guy who can't be killed by a bullet? Yep, that's who court has to go up against. The guy who's only allowed to use a single bullet is going up against a guy who's immune to bullets. Nice one, Herod. I mean, what can I say? I like your thinking. And Herod uses this moment to remind court of who he truly is, a killer. But the contest is thinning out now, and all that's left is Court, Ellen, Herod, and Kid. But since the sergeant wasn't able to liberate this town, maybe Ellen can. After all of this buildup, it's time for Ellen to achieve her life's dream. So she goes up to Herod and challenges him. And you remember the rules. If you're challenged by someone, you have to accept. But there's an issue here. Herod has already been challenged.
It's time for me to see if I'm my father's equal.
You would fight your own son.
I've already said that I'd be talking spoilers throughout the entirety of this video, but if this movie has you invested up to this point and you want to check it out, I cannot recommend that you watch any further.
Spending countless hours doom scrolling Netflix for something to watch? Don't feel like anything original is playing in theaters anymore? Trying to find something new to watch but don't know where to look?
Well, look no further than my YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Cone, and I know about all kinds of movies. Want to find a movie no longer than 90 minutes? I've got you. Want to watch brain-dead teenagers get hacked up with a machete? I've got you. Want to find a romantic movie for date night? I've got you. Want to feel the existential dread of man-made horrors beyond our comprehension for 2 hours and 20 minutes? I've got you. Any kind of movie you want to find, I can recommend. On my channel, I talk about all kinds of movies. Good ones, bad ones, so bad that they're good ones, artistic ones, autistic ones, all kinds of movies. So head on over to the YouTube search bar and look up at Hi, I'm Cone. That's at Hi, I'm Cone, and subscribe to my channel.
To subscribe to channel, call 1-800-420-6969. That's 1-800-420-6969. Warning: sense of humor may not be for everyone viewing this channel. May cause dizziness, insanity, or even death. Contact your doctor before viewing. Do not contact number. It is not real.
So from this point on, this is only for the cool kids who've already seen the movie. I'd like to skip this part entirely in order to avoid spoiling it, but if I don't go in depth on this scene, I would actually lose sleep over it. So you've been warned. Basically, every single person in this town cheers Kid on as he steps outside, which only further feeds his ego. It's been very clear that even though Herod is a cruel piece of shit, he has a soft spot for his kid, even though he refuses to show it.
Drop out. You made your point.
So he gives Kid one last chance to walk out, almost as if he's begging him not to go through with this. But if you remember, Herod changed the rules to if you don't kill your opponent, the contest is not over. But does Kid care? Of course not. There's only two things going on in his head right now. He wants to be known as a famous legend. He wants to be the best. But above all of that, he wants the respect of his father. And at this point, the only way he believes that he can get his father's respect is to best him. And as cocky as Kid is, you can't deny that he's good. So he actually manages to be the only person to land a shot on Herod.
Shit, that was fast. Did I get him?
Yeah, kid, you got it.
Even after all of this, after everything, he still will not admit that he's his son. Even when it's clearly tearing him up inside, he looks down on his son as he dies.
He's never proved that he was my son. He was a farmer that... I gave him a way out. He wouldn't take it.
So it comes down to Court facing off against Ellen. I haven't gotten around to talking about it, but these two have had a few back and forths with each other throughout the movie. They both kind of have a thing for each other. I mean, this movie did start with Ellen saving Court's life after all. They both kind of become friends, even though Ellen is disgusted to find out that Court used to run with Herod. But they both share a mutual hatred for him, so they both stand out in the street, friend against friend. The town watches as the clock ticks down. Yeah, neither of them fire. So Herod's all like, well, if neither of you will kill each other, I'll kill both of you. And Court's all like, nah, fuck that, and he puts Ellen down. Yup. That's it for our main character. Now Court takes up the mantle of the main character. That also leaves us with just two people, Court and Herod. The dynamic of past friends turned enemies is coming closer to an end. But you should know Herod by this point. He doesn't like to play fair, so he has one of his goons break his hands. And on top of that, he kills his goon for ruining the contest.
Who did that?
I did that, Mr. Herod.
That's how you ruined the contest. You've got 20 seconds to get out of town.
Wait a minute, that's not fair. I've only ever done what you told me to, Mr. Herod. Time's up, Rusty!
I'm sure you're wondering why Herod has gone through all of this effort to get Court in the contest. You think he hates him for leaving? No.
I'm nervous. It takes a lot to scare me. I love the sensation. I always wanted to fight you, Court. Ever since the first time I saw you, just this itch that I had to scratch.
He's just got a hard-on for how quick Court's hands are. He's possibly the only man that could actually defeat him. Yeah, baby. You thought they'd actually kill off the main character? Nah, man. She just bamboozled Harold with a little... Harold? What the fuck? Nah, man. She just bamboozled Herod with a little bit of ink. And Court gets the upper hand and eliminates all of Herod's goons before rewriting the rules himself.
From now on, all the fights are fair.
Just like Herod, I'm sure you're wondering who Ellen is. I've been teasing you with her origin story, so it's only fair that I let you in on it. Much like Herod's story, Ellen's story goes way back to when she was a kid. Now you remember at the beginning of this movie when Herod put Cord up on a chair? The reason that got to Ellen was because that's exactly what he did to her father. When she was a child, she ran out in an attempt to protect her father, and Herod found it to be amusing. So he's like, alright, you want to save your daddy? I'll let you. All you gotta do is shoot the rope up there and free him. And he did this pretty much guaranteeing his demise because this was a child. She clearly didn't have the strength to properly hold up that big iron, let alone that she's probably never even held a gun before this point. And this ends pretty much exactly how you'd expect it to. She couldn't aim high enough and she ends up accidentally killing her own father. And now she is here to get her long-awaited revenge on this monster. And she does so by giving Herod a new hole. You know, I don't know how Raimi manages to make a shot that is simultaneously so cool and so stupid at the same time. But the town is finally saved. I mean, kind of. I mean, she blew half the town up and everything is literally on fire, so she saved the day just as well as Superman saved Metropolis. But Cord's character arc is wrapped up by Ellen tossing him her dad's old badge. And he stands there thinking to himself, Marshall. Why the hell didn't I think of that? It's honestly a perfect ending for him. The guy didn't want to live his life hurting people anymore, but he'd always have that gunslinger in him. So being a man of the law is a perfect fit for him. From now on, he'd be helping people rather than hurting them. And that's The Quick and the Dead. It's a simple story, but it's heavily character-driven. Each character is written very well, and I was invested in everyone's story. It didn't feel like there was too much going on all at once because everyone had one thing in common, and that's their hatred for Herod, who even shined throughout the whole runtime. I seriously don't know how I didn't pick up that this was made by Sam the Man. Even when it was right in my face, like, I'm dumb, but I continue to surprise even myself with my smooth brain. Ooh, what's this? Ah!